Thank you,
I would
Julian.
love to kick all this off actually with a book you recommended to me. It was a meetup in Hong Kong. I tried to figure out what month it was, a day I can't remember. You were there, and you recommended a book to me, which was Economics in One Lesson. And it was my question that I was totally inspired by how you saw the world, how yeah, things were a bit different, and my medical mind hadn't had any clue on that. So what I wanted to know is, how did, like, where did you learn about this book? I know you recommended a second book to me that was way more comprehensive, and you said, yeah, but only read that if you're really into it. Walk me through a bit on where this libertarian mindset comes from. Is this from your parents? Is this, where did this come from? Bring me back to that place.
Yeah, it definitely isn't for my parents. Maybe it's for my grandfather though, but for whatever reason he didn't pass it down to my mom. But my maternal grandfather was interested in these sorts of ideas as well. But I didn't really have much of a sense of any of it at all until I picked up some of these economics books. And the more economics you study, the more you realize that every single government intervention in the economy starts to have unintended consequences and usually wind up leading to results that are at the very least different, if not the exact opposite of what the politicians had in mind to begin with. And so from reading those books, it just turned me into more and more of a libertarian as I read them. And it sounds like maybe that book, Economics in One Lesson, had a similar effect on you from reading that as well. And it's a really powerful book. And another economist I'm a fan of, Milton Friedman, he summed it up so well. You have to judge government programs, or anything in life for that matter. You have to judge them on the actual results rather than the intentions. So there's all sorts of government programs that have wonderful intentions, but they don't lead to good results. And if they don't lead to good results, even if they had wonderful intentions going into them, it's not a good idea to implement them. So
Maybe hopping on that, how, if you had been president, if you had been a decision maker, how would you have handled the last year?
I think I'd let people decide for themselves. If they want to self-isolate and stay at home and wear a mask, feel free. And if you want to close your business and not let customers in the business, feel free to do that. If you want to open your business and allow people in it, feel free to do that. If you want to go out and about, feel free to go to that. I'd let people decide what's the right choice for them, because I don't think there is a one-size-fits-all choice. If I was, overweight and in my 80s, I would probably stay home and self-isolate. But if I was, in my 20s and healthy, like, I could still go on with life. And traditionally, that's what societies have always done, is you isolate the people who are actually sick, not everybody else from everybody else all the time. And I think there's huge unintended consequences from these worldwide lockdowns, in the form of, people having all their savings wiped out and just lost economic growth, and like the repercussions from people not being able to exercise or go to the doctor, or all sorts of just giant problems that we'll see later down the road. Or maybe you won't see it all because people died of other things or committed suicide, and the suicide rates have just skyrocketed all over the world. So I would have handled it in the same way I would handle most things in life, is let people decide for themselves. And as long as they're not using a force or fraud against their fellow man, they should be free to do it.